Hi lovely people, it's Rachel, and I decided to film my process and sort of first entry from the I Am devotional kit that just arrived this week. So I started off just in the actual devotion itself, kind of reading the passage, jotting down some thoughts and answers to questions, underlining some bits and bobs. And this one is all about fearless. We're in 1 John 4, which ends with that very famous line of, perfect love casts out all fear. And it also talks about not being of the world, but, focusing on the things of God. So anyway, so I realised that when I'd done this, I actually had already done the page before. So that Bible mat providing a firm surface was really important. So what I'm going to do now is just talk you through what I'm actually doing on the page and the techniques, more so perhaps than the content. So I've just put gesso all over the page. I always work from the margin out, and then I'm just trying it off with a heat tool that I have from Dove Crafts. The thing with that is just keep it moving so that you don't melt your mat underneath, as I have discovered. And then I decided that I would use these stamps, although I did have a good look at everything else first when I was trying to decide what elements I wanted to use. And I decided that I would do some of the florals and the leaves and do it very similar to the Free to Flourish collection that I did, as I really liked how that came out. So here I'm just popping down some of the floral and stamps and things. I always clean off new stamps on the back of my hand just to take off any residue from production and things. That middle one didn't quite stamp properly, but it was okay because, I just lined it up and had another go. And then these little leaves say free on them. I just thought they were really cute. And I thought, right, I'm going to put some of the vines in now. But I couldn't quite fit it there, so I have made a mask for the stamp. And the way that I've done that is I just grabbed a pack of post-it notes, and I put that one to one side so I can use that later. And again, it didn't stamp properly. And I like post-it notes because then if you stamp on the sticky bit, or the bit that's got sticky underneath, it sticks to the page and stays in place. And you just cut it out, pop it over the image you've already stamped, and stamp again, and it stops. Obviously it protects the image you've already stamped. So dead easy technique, and again one that I used in Free to Flourish. So what did I decide to go for now? Yeah, I was looking at that other floral stamp and I just thought, actually no, I think I've got enough on there. So next up really was to start thinking about any stickers I wanted to include from the kit, and colours as well. I'd grabbed a couple of washi tapes out, and in the end I decided to stick with the colours that are in the kit. So I'm just grabbing some Pitt pens. These are by Faber-Castell, and I'm just grabbing colours that go together and match the kit broadly. So these are India ink, and they work really well with water, and that's how I particularly like to use them. And so what I tend to do is layer them up from light through to dark. Sometimes I scribble on the block a bit and then take it up with the water brush. Other times, when it's so pale, you can just go straight in on the page and then wet it afterwards, and it just works a little bit like watercolour. So that just really is a lovely, lovely technique to do. So here I'm just adding more sort of layers of colours, building it up, and I spent quite a long time on this, and I had music on in the background. I've been listening to the Rend Collective, who I really, really enjoy. I've kind of got into them quite recently. And I was just, sort of thinking through, praying through this thing about being fearless and what that meant for me at the moment. And fear is something that, like a lot of things, I thought I'd worked through. And I have worked through an awful lot to do with fear. But there's always more. And it interested me that on the front of this devotional it says dig deeper. Or on the card, somewhere it says dig deeper. And I thought, yeah, it is. It's digging even deeper. Because certainly in the last few weeks, it's not been an easy couple of months, to be honest with you. There's been amazing stuff going on, and in life generally and everything, and I've had a really, really fantastic few experiences. But equally, there's other things that are going on that are difficult, and you know, it'd be easy to give into the fear of things not working out, or it not being good enough, or you know, things of to do with business as well, and all sorts. But I have to keep reminding myself, and this is just reminding me again, that at the end of the day, I can choose whether I speak life and truth into my life, or whether I allow fear to speak into my life. And really, I want to choose to speak the truth into my life. So yeah, so that's kind of what I was thinking about when I was going through just colouring in these flowers and adding in beautiful colours and things, and just, yeah. And that's the beauty, I think, for me of Bible journaling, is that whilst my hands are busy and my mind is also thinking about what I'm looking at, you know, there's always something going on spiritually as well. And it's a time when you can really just pray stuff through and just really get a real sense of, and listen to God and see what He is saying, and things. So back to process. So I finished doing my flowers, and then I decided to highlight the bits of the passage which particularly stood out to me and I felt were really relevant at this stage. I mean, let's face it, every word is relevant, but there's always some bits that stick out more. And then I popped some of that washi tape down the bottom because it's gorgeous. And then I decided to start adding in some of the background. And for this, I'm using, again, a technique that I did in Free to Flourish, in some of those entries, where I just layer up the blues and use the water brush and just go in with increasingly darker colours and sort of blend the colour out to create the background. And I really love how this works. And somebody had asked how I got it so vibrant, and this is how I do it. It's lots and lots of layers, several colours, and gradually as I add in the darker colours, I'm staying closer to the actual shape or image that I'm colouring around, so that it has that depth and a bit of shadow to it. So I spent quite a bit of time kind of building this up, and really getting this blue across the page, and I just think it's so pretty. I was really pleased with how it came together. So yeah, so getting that third one done now, and these pens, oh, I tell you, I did invest in the big set of 64, and it was an investment. I mean, I'd had the set of 24 for a while, and I just love them. They are, without a doubt, I mean, I think I like them more than watercolours at the moment, because you can paint with them like this, but you still have that kind of depth and vibrancy of pen when it dries. Now, I do enjoy the watercolours, and by the way, I'm really sorry I keep going, this is only my second voiceover video, and I'm getting used to them, so bear with me. See? Again! Oh, what's that about? So yeah, so I would really recommend this kind of technique and these pens, because they are just gorgeous. Although, yes, a little pricey for the full set, but when they get used as much as they do, then I think they're worth it. So what I just did there was just the page was starting to peel back, because I'd dried it off with the heat tool again, so I just washi taped it back down to the mat just to keep it steady. And I decided that I was going to write something that would end up with "My trust is in the Lord," and I quite like doing this with the stickers, trying to end with the phrase or incorporate the phrases and words on the stickers into kind of the actual writing, the journaling that I do. So I wanted also to include some gold in there, because I've been really thinking about this thing of being royal, a daughter of the king. Yes, made it, that really annoyed me. And I just thought I want to get some gold in there and see how it goes. Again, came in with the heat tool again just to dry that off, because I thought I do not want to smear gold all over the place. And we shall do some strategic stickerating in a moment to cover up that little mistake. But you know what, mistakes happen, and that's fine. So I wanted to use these puffy crosses, as I've not done very much with them yet. And I've been really thinking about this idea of you know, when Jesus was on the cross, he really did deal with everything. Not just some of it, but everything. And that's what I've got to keep coming back to. So the journal that I'm writing here, some of it is taken from the devotional and turned into kind of a prayer, really. It just says, my response today is shaped by God's everlasting sufficiency, not my fears, because my trust is in the Lord. So I like just having that little bit in there, and I ripped a page as well, which was sad, but hey, what are you going to do? You know, sometimes it happens, and that's okay. And I know for some people the thought of, oh my gosh, you just ripped a page in your Bible, would be absolutely just unthinkable, and I get that. But equally, I ripped a page in my Bible because I'm in my Bible reading it and using it and doing something with it. So yeah, I kind of would rather have it a little bit ripped than sat on a shelf pristine. I pulled out the stamps that I've had from the Illustrated Faith kits there, and I remembered that I had one that said I am, and I think it's a last year's kit, so it's not available anymore. I mean, I could have just hand lettered it, but I thought, no, I'm going to put in the I am fearless. And at this point I was messing around with spacing of letters and seeing what space I needed. Top little tip there, use your pointy scissors to get the little middles out of the letters that have middles. And I was going to put it over the text, and I thought, actually no, I don't want to, and actually I have that space down there too. So I decided to go onto the second page and use that space. So gesso came out once again. Thought I'll do the whole page just in case I come back and do anything else in 1 John, because it seems to be one of my favourite books, this Bible. And again, just drying it off, ready to do some stamping of the words and then put in some flowers and use exactly the same techniques as I did before. So we're in with the stamps, and I decided to pop some of the flowers in again, just to tie it all together. And again, I'm going to use that masking technique of popping the mask over that I made and stamping across again when I can find it, because I think I'm faffing around trying to find the thing. And then the video cut off, which was great. So you can see that I've put the leaves in, and now I'm just again going in and colouring that flower, getting lots of layers and depth of colouring. This one was a lot harder to do because obviously I'd already done one, and I tend to do like all the flowers, all the leaves, everything all in sequence, whereas here I was going back in trying to think which sequence of colours did I do. But yeah, dead easy technique, this one. And I think just not being afraid to experiment with colour is really important, and techniques and things. You know, quite often I will try things out on a scrap bit of paper first before I give it a go in my Bible, and I think that's absolutely fine. You know, you don't have to go in and do it perfectly first time. In fact, you don't have to go in and do it perfectly at all. It's there to be engaged with and interacted with. It's not about creating a perfect piece of artwork. That's, yeah, if that's kind of your take on Bible journaling, then I'm really sorry to sound a bit harsh, but you've sort of missed the point. I think I said at the EllieBeth annual event the other week, you know, Bible journaling is about getting the word off the page and into your heart, and yeah, it's not about it just staying there and being perfect. So I really like the alphabets that have all these patterns in, but I do find that they don't stand out quite enough for me, so I like to outline them. And I popped in some gold as well, just onto the page. And then just finished off with a little bit of washi tape, and the last little bit that I'm going to be wanting to do is pop a tab on it, because I like to tab my entries so you can go back to them. And this just says fearless on it, and that's going on the top of the page, and then I may add a clip as well. So I hope you've enjoyed that. Leave me any comments down below, and I'll speak to you again soon, lovely people. Take care now. Bye.